James Raggatt is here, the President of the Royal South Australian Society of the Arts. Welcome, James.
Thank you, Peter.
We're just saying, because you knew my parents.
I did.
The Woodville Tennis Club.
It's a long time ago.
Was Frank Prest there?
Yes, he was.
Yes, because he taught for years thereafter, wasn't
Yes.
he? Yes.
Yes, and your father was a very good tennis player.
Thank you.
One of the things that I was very interested in quite a few years ago now was in one of your articles in the Mail, you spoke so highly of your father at that stage.
Yes.
And I thought that's a compliment to you.
Oh, well, thank you, James. You knew Jeffery Smart.
Yes, very well.
You
I learned
painted with him.
Yes, I did.
Did you learn from Mari Tuck?
No, I didn't.
No.
But Jeffery did.
Yes.
And he spoke very highly of her.
Yes.
And one of the great advantages in this exhibition is that you can see her work, you can see Dorrit Black's work,
Yes.
you can see John Giles's work.
Yes. Your work?
Oh yes,
Yes.
too.
It's a marvellous concept. It's a companion exhibition to the big Samstag show
Yes.
of his work. But he's someone who has never forgotten his roots here, has
Definitely
he?
not.
And that's very pleasing.
One of the interesting factors about that, you know, Peter, I was speaking to him on the phone at one stage, a year or two ago, and he said, yes, we're just back from New York. We went to see Wagner's The Ring. It wasn't as good as ours.
Ah, yes, because he was here for the ring, wasn't he?
That's right.
Oh,
So that possessiveness about him is quite interesting.
he
Because
has... Sorry, James.
that's what I was just going to say, because people sometimes wonder the fact that he has lived so long in Tuscany, whether he's an Italian painter or an Australian painter, and people have raised that with me. And in fact, this was raised again on Sunday, and I, as you mentioned, I've got a couple of my paintings there, and I said, that one of Milan, that one of Canary Wharf in London, does that make me an Italian or an English painter? It doesn't.
No. Yes, he's been in Tuscany a very long time. What impresses me about him is that he is driven in the sense that he painted... Bruce Beresford, who's a friend of his, wrote this in his diaries. I didn't quite understand this about him. He works all day, a full day's work at his easel, on his canvases, every day, 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
And that's remarkable. Now in his 90s, isn't he?
Yes, he's got difficulties, of course, now. But yeah, that's what he's there for. He's an artist. He's a painter.
Yes, and it
So
consumes.
therefore,
That's what he does.
Yeah. And you'll find the same thing with quite a lot of the other artists that I've been in touch with anyway. We've got, for example, 3 Jefferys, different spelling, but we had Jeffrey Brown
Yes.
and Jeffrey Wilson. And they are both excellent artists whose work is represented there. But they work like hell as well.
This is a marvellous show. I'm coming to see it, James. The catalogue which you've written, Jeffery Smart and his contemporaries, remarkable. And this is, I think, doing... The Royal Society is underappreciated, is it not, James?
Well,
sadly.
I think so, but also one of the other aspects that did arise, we had Barry Pearce knock on the door and come in just before we were ready to go. And Barry, of course, is the recently retired curator of Australian art at the New South Wales, and previously was the same here. And we were looking around, and he said, you know, the great problem here, you've got Max Raglis, you've got various others, and he said they're not known outside the state, and we need to do something about that. So yes.
You bring a time here, the 40s and 50s, because he was well known on the Argonauts, wasn't he, Jeffery Smart?
Yes, that's
What
right.
was his name, the artist?
Phidias.
Phidias, quite. A photograph by one of my mentors, Colin Ballantyne, here of Smart. But it's that whole period, Saraiva, Heel, they say now, don't they?
I'd say Heel.
I've always said Healy. Horace Trenery. You quote from Smart's autobiography, and we feel we're in his head. in his South Australia in that very seminal time for modern art.
Yes. Yes, undoubtedly so, because of that conglomerate, not a good word to use,
No.
but of those
What's the
painters.
group now? Doug Roberts is remembered
Yes,
here,
that's
John
right.
Bailey.
Yes.
Artists largely forgotten. I'm glad that Pam Cleland is well represented. I love her work, James.
Yes, well, her work is shown there, of course, and she was one of the four of us. I've called ourselves survivors.
Yeah. Her work is highly influenced by Francis Roy Thompson.
Yes, your favourite.
My favourite,
Yes.
who's not represented here.
No, he wasn't on Jeffrey's list.
Oh, what
I
a
don't
shame.
know why, but maybe they didn't work together too much,
No.
but still, I know that Pam and Francis Roy Thompson did work together quite well.
Now, you've worked with Jeffrey to choose these pictures,
Yes.
and then you've had to source them
Yes.
and borrow them.
Yes. Art Gallery of South Australia, fantastic, and they've been most helpful about that.
That's terrific.
But others, of course, too, and there are so many that have come forward with it. But I think one of the interesting factors about it is that one particular lady, she was going through central Victoria with her husband. They were into this particular delicatessen to get a pie. The pies were cold. So while they were heating up, they said, let's go next door into the second-hand place.
Yes, yes.
And there it was. Yes, you've got it there.
Yes. And she paid $37 for this. It's $37 for the ink and watercolor San Angelo, 1950. And what it may be worth 10 to 15 grand.
It would be.
That you hear of this happening, and it happened in that case, but you rarely. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
It's everybody's dream when we walk into an op shop or a second-hand.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then following that, some other people had been in touch with Stephen Rogers, that's Jeffrey's archivist, and said, we're not sure about this particular painting, whether it's a Jeffery Smart or not. And they gave him some detail, and of course Jeff kept a very detailed schedule of everything that he did. And so he said, yes it is, it must be. And so, would you bring it in when I come across? They brought in not one, but two. So we have those additional two being shown, or three rather, that were not lined up. And it could be made four, because there's one in this building.
Yes, of course.
We could borrow that.
Did you want it in the show?
Please.
In the current show?
In the current show.
Oh, well, you only have to ask the ABC. And
We should do that.
Not in my purview, James. Yes, that. Now, when was that recognised?
I don't know.
Yes, there's quite a story to that, but it was painted when he was on the ABC, on the Argonauts, and he gave it as a present to the ABC.
Oh, is that what it was?
And it's of the ABC in High Marsh Square,
I see.
and it's in our boardroom. Yes.
Oh, right.
The funny thing about Jeffery Smart is his early work is not that astonishing. I mean, he stands very well with the contemporaries. So why, for example, James, and all artists must wonder that, why is he now a squillionaire in Tuscany and you ain't?
Why am I ain't? Well, I think that's gets down to some of the personal aspects, like did I have the guts to go and do it? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the things that contribute towards that situation.
The style, that very urban style, the streetscape style,
Yes.
the freeway, that kind of modern look that we immediately associate with Jeffery Smart. You can be driving along and you see a landscape. You might be driving under a freeway bridge, and it's immediately like you're in the middle of a Jeffery Smart painting.
That's right.
When did that style develop?
I'd be having to guess about that one, but nevertheless, he did. It is a matter of getting into his mind.
Yes.
And we ran this session on Sunday called Finding Jeffery. And that was the purpose behind it, to try and get through to the situation as to establishing how and why he painted in various ways and under certain circumstances.
But he found, like most painters, he found a style and he stuck with it, didn't he?
Pretty well, yeah. But that was related to, from one discussion I had, the intention to record what's happening today and not just living in the past.
I love this picture, which I'd never seen. It's on the front of your catalogue, of two women, perhaps at the Balfour's Cafe or somewhere like that.
I think so.
In the late 40s or early 50s. I congratulate you and the good work of the Royal Society, Jones, and thank you very much for this exhibition.
Thank you, and I hope people come and see it till November the 11th because it's marvellous.
At the Royal Society, what hours, James?
From 11 o'clock until 4 in the afternoon.
For 7 days a week?
Yeah, except 1 o'clock on Sunday and Saturday.
Thank you. The Royal Society, which is above the Institute building,
yes,
there on the corner of North Terrace and Kintore Avenue.
That's right.
Thank you very much, James.
Thank you so much, Peter.
We go now to Diana, a board member of the REPAT Foundation. Hello, Diana.
Hello.